Welcome back to Campfire Whispers, your daily fix of horror stories, unsolved mysteries, and straight-up unbelievable content. My name is Eki, and today I'm sharing a story called The Worst Date of My Life. It began like something out of a rom-com, rain tapping against the window pane, a flickering candle in a wine bar, a woman with soft red curls and a delicate locket shaped like a key. Her name was Isabelle, or so she said. She smiled like she knew something you didn't, and maybe she did. Liam had never been one for online dating, but something about her profile picture had felt different. Not just her beauty, which was sharp and elegant in an old-world sort of way, but the stillness in her eyes. Not posed, not forced, as if the lens had captured something very real and very still beneath the surface. The conversation had been strange from the start. She asked about death like it was a favorite movie genre. Asked about his childhood in oddly specific terms, like have you ever drowned but didn't die? And when you dream of falling, do you hit the ground or wake up? She laughed after each question, as if joking. Liam laughed too, unsure. Still, the wine was good. The candlelight was warm. The rain made everything feel oddly cinematic. Then her nose began to bleed. A single crimson thread slipped down over her upper lip. She didn't flinch, didn't react. Instead, she reached into her coat pocket and pulled out a tissue already stained with rust-red blotches. It wasn't the first time. She dabbed at her face, tucked the tissue away, and smiled. "I get them sometimes," she said, finally. Changes in pressure. She leaned forward. Her eyes were dark, darker than seemed natural. Almost black, with no visible whites. "Want to go somewhere quieter?" she asked. Liam hesitated, but then she tilted her head like a cat, and something about that motion, too smooth, too synchronized, unnerved him. Yet he nodded. Maybe it was the wine. Maybe it was loneliness. Maybe it was the unspoken thrill of ignoring the warning in his chest. They took her car. It was old, the kind of old that looked deliberate, vintage restored. Red leather seats, pristine. No dust on the dashboard, no scratches on the windows. There was no music, only the windshield wipers, whispering a slow, rubbery rhythm. She drove fast. The city slipped behind them like melting paint. Trees rose on either side of the road, swallowing the light. The headlights barely pierced the black ahead. When Liam looked out the window, he realized something strange. There were no stars. Just a matte ceiling of shadow, endless and still. "Where are we going?" he finally asked. "A place I like." They drove for what felt like an hour, but the clock on the dashboard never changed. It stayed frozen at 11:13 p.m. Even the second hand didn't twitch. The road narrowed. Trees leaned in. The car slowed as they reached an opening in the woods. No lights, no buildings. Just a thin path of gravel leading into more darkness. She parked the car and turned off the ignition. The silence was suffocating. "Come on," she said. The air outside was colder than it should have been. Liam's breath fogged. Hers didn't. He noticed that. He told himself it was nothing. Probably just the angle or the lighting. The path led to a clearing surrounded by dead trees. At the center was a stone circle, flat and wide like an altar. The ground sloped slightly inward, as if something heavy had once rested there for a long time. Isabelle stepped into the center. "I like to come here when I feel too human," she said. "Don't you ever feel like you're pretending?" Liam laughed nervously. "Pretending to be human?" She nodded. He wanted to leave. He wanted to run. But the woods behind them looked deeper now, darker, like the trees had thickened in the short time they'd been there. "I need to show you something," she said. Then she unbuttoned her blouse. Liam turned away instinctively, feeling like he was intruding. But what stopped him wasn't modesty. It was the sound. A tearing noise, wet and fibrous, like fabric being peeled from raw meat. When he looked back, she wasn't undressed, at least not in any way he understood. Her skin had split at the chest like old paper, revealing not muscle or bone, but something else. A hollow cavity, pulsing and dark. It was filled with something that moved, slow, coiling shapes that twitched like embryonic limbs. Isabelle, or the thing wearing her shape, reached into the cavity and pulled something out. It was long, gray, and vaguely human. A face featureless, limbs unfinished. It pulsed in her hands like a dying fish. She knelt and laid it gently in the center of the stone circle. "It's a gift," she whispered. "It's yours." Liam took a step back, then another, but his feet didn't land where they should have. The ground beneath him stretched, shifted. He was no longer on soil. He stood on something soft, pliable. It gave slightly under his weight. He looked down. It wasn't earth. It was flesh. A sprawling expanse of gray skin stretched across the clearing, covered in faint scars and old, puckered mouths sealed shut. The trees surrounding them weren't trees at all, but limbs. Bone white and bent at wrong angles, like fingers reaching upward in eternal grasp. The stone altar pulsed. Isabelle, no longer even remotely human, began to hum, a sound like wind through a grave. Her body unraveled slowly, her skin sloughing off in layers, revealing a network of veins and tendrils that writhed in the cold air. From the center of the stone came a sound, wet and eager. Something beneath it shifted. Awakened, Liam tried to scream. Nothing came out. He turned to run and saw that the path was gone. The car gone. The stars were back, but they were wrong. The sky above was a spiral of stars he didn't recognize, all fixed in place, unmoving. A dome of lies. He ran anyway. The forest didn't stop him. It only watched. Branches didn't reach for him. They flinched away, as if they feared what was chasing him more than he did. He ran until his legs gave out. He woke up in his apartment. His phone was dead. The clocks all read 11:13 p.m. For days, Liam tried to convince himself it was a hallucination, a fever dream, a panic attack laced with bad wine. But then the bleeding started. Not his nose, his eyes. Small, steady tears of blood that came each time the clock struck 11:13. He'd wake in the night and find red smears on his pillow. He heard humming behind the walls. Soft, persistent. He began to see shapes in the mirror. Things that weren't him, standing behind him, watching, smiling. His reflection no longer moved when he did. Sometimes it blinked on its own. A week later, Liam received a package. No return address. Just a box, small and cold. Inside was a locket, a delicate one, shaped like a key. When he opened it, there was no photo, only a mirror. And in the mirror, Isabelle's face. Smiling, bleeding, waiting. He threw it into the garbage disposal. It screamed, not the machine, the locket itself, and the metal cracked in half. That night, he dreamed of the altar, of the gift she gave him. The gray figure now bore his face. It opened its eyes and whispered, "We are becoming." Liam doesn't go out anymore. He doesn't use dating apps. He doesn't sleep if he can help it. But when he does, he always wakes up at 11:13, with blood on his cheeks and the echo of a hum in his ears. If you enjoyed this story, please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Join me next time for more unbelievable tales on Campfire Whispers.